I've been fighting to settle on who it is I want to be professionally for years. And you know what I think really finally did it for me? Was I got fed up. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Crofts. I am a school teacher who's about to be a former school teacher. I'm planning to quit my job at the end of this school year in order to make learning my living. So I've been in public education for 3 years now. This is my 3rd year. And at first, I loved it. When I got into the profession, I wasn't so sure, but I fell in love with it, and I was certain. I thought for sure this is what I wanted to do. I want to be a teacher. I was aware of the culture, like the misbehavior that is rampant in public education. But nonetheless, I fell in love with it. I got to be a mentor figure. It was wonderful. But the thing that changed was, I guess it kind of sunk in, the reality that it's not just that there's not a high degree of respect from students toward teachers. And it's not just that misbehavior is rampant. It's also that the teaching profession demands more and more of my own personal time in order to just stay afloat with the responsibilities of being a teacher. And it's also that even if I felt like I was able to be a mentor figure in this education thing, even if I was able to be a mentor figure, I'm no longer confident that real quality education is taking place in public schools. At least not in the majority of classrooms. Most teachers are uninspired, disengaged, the students don't care, and the teachers get frustrated, and if the teachers try to enforce high standards, they typically get not either pushback, or more than that, they get pushback not only from the students but even from administrators and parents. And so those that are trying to lead and have high expectations get punished, whereas if you disengage, you kind of sink back into the culture and you contribute to it becoming worse and worse and worse. So the culture's broken. But in addition to that, I look back at my own education, my own experience in public school and in university, and I think about all the things that I've learned over the, almost coming up on about 30 years of my life. I'm 28 right now. And all of the most valuable skills, the things I'm most proud of, I've taught myself using the internet and books. So for example, back in college, I learned about day trading, which I don't know if any of you are familiar with, but day trading is, it's like a whole industry now where you can learn as just a common man. There are risks involved, of course, but if you know what you're doing, it's possible to make unbelievable returns that the so-called experts in academia just aren't aware of and they don't believe are possible. So that's an example of where self-education dominates, in my opinion, traditional education. Another example is language learning. When I moved to Texas in 2020, I believe, right at the beginning of COVID. And I didn't go there to learn Spanish, but because there were so many Spanish speakers around and I'd always wanted to give language learning a try, Spanish being a no-brainer first choice for a second language, I just kind of gave it a shot and I figured it out. I used an application on my phone called Pimsleur. I can tell you about it more in some other video if you're not already aware. And I just stuck with it. All it took was discipline and I had the opportunity to practice because I worked at a Walgreens there in Austin for about 9 months, and I had a lot of Spanish only speakers come in, and they needed help every once in a while in photo or whatever. And all I did was practice a little bit, day by day, and suddenly I kind of like knew Spanish. I didn't study it ever. I never studied in a classroom. I never learned about the grammar rules, and I don't want to. To this day, and I'm now licensed in the state of Wyoming to teach Spanish to young minds. Licensed to do that, to have charge over a classroom in public education, and yet I never studied any of the grammar rules. I went to college for like the teacher content for pedagogy, but don't get me started on all that nonsense. My point is, I think that the culture of public education and the culture of academia and the so-called expert class at writ large is just overrated. It's not about expertise. It's about the simple handful of things that if you master, you're going to get whatever you want. And if you fail to master, or if you fail to develop, you will not get whatever it is that you want. Those things are discipline, goal setting. Maybe that's it. So public education is broken. I wouldn't send my own kids to the school that I currently work at. I trust way more in the internet combined with my own discipline, and I intend on doubling down on self-education. I think in terms of earning money, managing health holistically, not just treating disease with pills, but really optimizing preventative care, I don't need every last detail of the expert class that they're offering in order to be healthy. I just need a handful of the core principles that really count, that matter, and are the same for all of us, and I can work with those. So with respect to making and managing money, with respect to physical health, and with respect to relationships, I think that public education should be basically abandoned or radically transformed. But in the meantime, I'm not concerning myself with trying to fix it. I am diving into what has worked for me and what I want to continue to expand on even further and faster than I ever have. And that is self-education, right here on YouTube, and with books, and with the internet, with writing, with artificial intelligence, etc.